Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back again, live for Thursday's Comic Conversation. It is so many things tonight. It is Throwback Thursday. It is Thor's Day in the middle of a War of Realms. It is the first time ever we've done a show post-Endgame. And so many other things, but we'll get into that. Apologies for the restart. I had a minor tech hiccup. Hopefully everybody can hear me now. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about, of course, the undead rose and attacked Winterfell last weekend. And then this week, DC had their own version with DCeased. And we're going to review that book a little bit later on. I do want to give some shout outs. Brian B is listening live from Phil's comic shop. He's doing some stuff over there, probably getting ready for the big weekend. We're going to talk about that too. It is many things this weekend. Cinco de Mayo, May the 4th be with you, Revenge of the 5th, and Free Comic Day. So a lot of things. But the first thing we got to do, we'll do the shout outs. We'll do the catch up in a moment. I do want to give my condolences. And as we do here, we always hate to sort of report on this sad news when somebody passes. But it's important, it's important to talk about. It's important to, as fans, if you're sad about it, have a place to come and, be able to discuss it and respect them and, share what they meant to us. So today we learned that Mr. Peter Mayhew has passed away. Peter Mayhew was born in 1944 in England. He's known for Star Wars, but he's had a very long career. He's done a lot of things, charitable things. I'll talk about that in a second. He actually worked at a hospital in England before he was picked up for Star Wars, all the way back in 1977. And ever since then, for decades, he's been closely tied to everything that Star Wars means to everybody. The nicest guy. He has been, on the convention circuit for quite some time. I don't know if you guys ever met him at a convention or maybe saw him. He does make the circuit, just kind of like Mark Hamill does. Most of these guys, actually. Anthony Daniels, everybody does. But Peter actually passed on April 30th. The cause of death is unknown. One of the great things was he was with his family at their home in Texas when he passed. So he was surrounded by loved ones. Sounds like they knew this was coming. Maybe he had something that, he's had for a while, and it just, unfortunately, it finally caught up with him. But very sad. You can see here, this is something that the family posted on Twitter, and then they posted this thing which I want to share as well. So let me go ahead and share that, and then I want to ask you guys, once I do this, what your experience, or if you have any, with Peter Mayhew. It says, the family of Peter Mayhew, with deep love and sadness, regrets to share the news that Peter has passed away. He left us the evening of April 30th, 2019, with his family by his side in his North Texas home. He's the man behind Chewbacca for the original Star Wars trilogy. He was back as a consultant. The role of Chewie went on to Jonas. So he's been kind of a consultant for Force Awakens and Last Jedi. So been on set, still very closely tied to this. And he realized that he had all these legions of fans and this platform that he could use for good. So he established the Peter Mayhew Foundation. And through that, they help people in other countries, people in crisis with, needing food, needing things for their kids. He's been helping out with supplies like that for what's going on with Venezuela recently. And that's going to continue. Even though he's passed, that will continue. He did leave a wife and 3 children. So his wife, Angie, is going to be now the head of the Peter Mayhew Foundation. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and good that they have that. Let me go ahead and share this back while we're talking about it. But Chris, anything to share in terms of Peter Mayhew? I know that you talked about it briefly in our chat. Saying it was sad news, and it really is. So.
Nothing. Just all I know is that I just saw it for the first time today. I didn't realize that he had actually passed on a few days earlier. I thought that he was.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I saw it as soon as the news broke on, first was brought to me by Facebook. Yeah.
I'm in the alley.
I see. Yep. But no, I never got a chance to meet him. I never got any personal interaction with him. I just remember you know, enjoying what he did, you know, in the movies and everything, and just you know, just one of those things where, you know, yeah, it's one of those things where you know, as he's one of those people that has such an iconic role and everything like that, you know, you don't really get. Can I put it down for a second? So he's just one of those people that you know, plays a character that's behind a mask that, you know, I mean, on top of that too, just someone that you can't really audibly even understand. And it's just, you know, he was able to just kind of bring so much to that role. And, you know, in terms of just how great of a role and icon that he was, I think really just, you know, I saw it today where it's just, I mean, as soon as it came on, you know, as soon as it came on social media, like you know, saw that people had just kind of been posting. I mean, and it just kind of spread like wildfire. And so it's just, you know, he's a guy that definitely everybody, you know, he's a guy and a character that everybody is gonna miss. And I think that really, you know, he seemed like a really genuinely good man. And it's just sad news to find out that he's gone. So
yeah, definitely. I was looking on IMDb. I was just finding some, you know, fun little facts about him. He did win a Lifetime Achievement Award through MTV, so I thought that was pretty cool. This was pretty cool. So after getting the role of Chewbacca, Mayhew went to the zoo and began studying movements and mannerisms of large animals to incorporate into the character. So that was pretty cool. So that's like method acting, right? Yep. And then this happened with a lot of them. They had different options of who they wanted to play. You know, like Leia actually wanted to be Solo, you know. So he had the option of playing either Darth Vader or Chewbacca. Same with David Prowse. Obviously, he chose Chewie because he wanted to be a hero. And then the opposite choice was for Prowse. But interesting that he could have been Darth Vader as well. Imagine that.
yeah,
right? And he actually had gigantism, which some of the other you know, like Andre the Giant had, you know what I mean? So maybe that played into it. Yeah,
actually, which is funny because you know, for him to live such a long life is actually kind of rare when you have something like that. I mean, I don't think his was as extreme as Andre's was, but you know, Andre passed away relatively young. I think I'm not sure if he made it to his 50s or not. But I mean, if he made it to his 50s, I mean, he just made it into his 50s. And, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, the more you learn about it and the people that have it in such extreme ways, you know, it's really just a painful existence just because, you know, even though, you know, I mean, they look larger than life and they can support it all. It's just like, you know, there's some, you know, with their bones and organs and things like that. It's just, you know, what they go through. So for him to live to 74 is actually a good feat for somebody with that, you know, type of actual affliction. So
right. That's a good point. Stay Puff says hashtag RIP Peter Mayhew. Liking the covers is here as well. He says, I'm stunned. Jack Yo said, very sad news. Jeff G said, ball of fire, Chris. And you know, others are chiming in as well. So go ahead and leave your thoughts, memories, you know, anything that you you know, because like I said, he was very prominent on the convention circuit. Unfortunately, he didn't, you know, cycle through my area. But if you have any stories like that, I would love to hear them. So go ahead and leave those, you know, down in the comment. I mean, in the comment section. Before we move on, I just want to leave you with a quote that he said. Obviously, right? That's what a quote is. He said, "It's curious when you look down at people, you see their defects, their irregularities more clearly. I like my bird's eye view. I think it's what gives Chewie his pride, his bigness of heart." So I thought that was a great quote. Like I said, we have a bunch of people in the chat. Philly Superman is here. Jeff G, Jack Yo, Stay Puff, liking the covers. A bunch of people rolling in. So go ahead and say hi. As a reminder, we are streaming. This will be up to stream hopefully by tomorrow. iCloud, right? No, iTunes, SoundCloud. There we go. Stitcher, Podbean, all your usual suspects for podcasts and streaming. All your favorite ones. That's where we are. But I'm curious. We're going to talk about the weekend. It's a big weekend. There's a lot of things happening. So we'll talk about that. We're also going to announce the winner of the Avengers Endgame box office estimate contest. So there's that. But before we get into all that, I want to find out what you guys have been up to in the past, in the past week. Anything big news, big purchases or anything like that?
Big purchases, you say? Can you hear me, Jesse?
Can
That
hear
was the
you.
question.
I can hear you. I don't know if Jesse can hear you.
Jesse might have walked away, but yeah. Hold on. Let me find my purchases. Oh, here they are.
What you got? Daredevil #1.
You know it. Yeah, right, man. You'd have seen that on like chat or something before this. No. It was. It's to go along with Endgame. Oh no, Jesse went away and came back. Maybe But yeah, as part of Endgame, we had the Mighty Thor 390 go crazy.
Yep.
And I was lucky enough to find a newsstand and a direct for $1 each. So I was really, really happy with those.
So for those who don't know, tell us what's significant about that issue.
Cap picks up the hammer.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spoilers,
like
everybody. Spoilers.
Too. Badass, like from the ground straight up. Like it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was just like, I went to this little shop near me. It's mainly just like a game shop, like Magic, Pokemon, stuff like that. But they do carry like newer issues, but they've never had back issues or long boxes or anything like that before. And I was going by there to actually pick up some like Magic stuff. But
what's it called? War of the Spark.
Yeah, the new one. Yeah. War of the Spark. Coming at you.
Folks.
Played in that pre-release last weekend. That was a lot of fun. That was Saturday goodness right there all day long. And then opening this box, I took my time. It's only 36 packs. But like I said, that long boxes, everything, $1 a piece, and I think they even cut me a better deal than that. I ended up walking out of there with like 24 books and spent like $21. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah. It was also, I also picked up or was also able to grab in that the David Finch Moon Knight #1.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's even the trade on that one's expensive. So just to have that issue #1 was very, very nice. It makes filling that run much easier because the first issue is like stupid and the rest aren't expensive at all. So in the end, gearing up for what's coming this weekend, it's time to fill in because so many deals are going to be had this weekend, especially for just filler books and everything. Like a lot of shops around here are getting rid of their back issues, so they're doing like buy 5 get 5, buy 10 get 10.
Which is a great deal.
Take advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been filling in runs. I've been picking up way too many books lately, and not new books though. I've cut way down on new books, but I've been picking up the back issues to make up for it. Apparently.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I did the same thing. I cut a couple books this week from my pull list, but I'm just getting ready for Fan Expo Dallas tomorrow. I'm gonna hit the road tomorrow and try to get there right when they open up, so I can get some signatures before everybody breaks out of work. And that's pretty much what I got going on. And then actually some other news, nothing really too pop culture related, but we also lost John Singleton.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, Boys in the Hood. Only pop culture thing he came close to making was Shaft and what was that, Too Fast, Too Furious?
Yep. Yeah. He was a big name. He did
he did Poetic Justice, Juice,
Boys in the Hood, and a bunch of music videos. Remember the time?
Higher Learning.
Higher Learning. Yeah. He back in the 90s, he actually approached Wesley Snipes to do a Black Panther movie, like all the way back then. It fell through. Snipes went on to do Blade, of course, right? But he wanted to do that. He wanted to tie in the actual Black Panthers and civil rights and stuff. But we could have gotten a film from John Singleton all the way back in the 90s. So that would yeah. So that'd been cool. We've been discovered, folks. Discovery Bay Comics is here. Says hello to everybody. So yeah, good call out on John Singleton. I mean, sad, but
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. I didn't even. I mean, I know it was reported once he passed that he'd been sick for a while. I didn't even know he was sick or anything. So
yeah, he had a stroke, and then he was in the hospital, right? And then they took him off the life support. I think he was only 51 years old. So
yeah, he wasn't old at all.
Yeah.
Oh, and just to go back on what we were saying earlier, Andre the Giant was only 46.
Wow.
He was young. I remember that.
Yeah. So, Chris, I know you had a big weekend last week.
Yes.
Little Giant Comic Show. Actually, the Comic-holics were there. Peter Samedi was there from Alterna.
Yeah.
A bunch of other people have been posting about it. So, little old Everett Arena, had all eyes on it this weekend, it seemed like.
Yeah, it was, man. I mean, I did a video just to kind of just say like my experience that I had there, stuff I picked up, stuff I got signed. Overall, though, it was a really good con.
Yeah.
There was, just so much going on, and like to go into it, it just seemed. I figured it wasn't gonna be. Thank you. I think. Stop. Hold on. I'll be right back. Yep, my dog.
Right.
Now she's grabbing stuff. Right.
That's what kids do. All right, so while he's gone, I'll give my updates, which is nothing. No, I've been picking up a few things. I've been trying to find like some oddities and stuff. So like oversized or undersized Star Wars stuff. Found like an oversized collector's edition from like 1980 for Empire. Finally found the 33 1/3, the record for the first Star Wars. Picked up a cool Boba Fett little figure. That'll go behind me. Some things like that. So I'm being very picky in what I get. Opposite of Justin, it seems. I'm trying to, because I don't know if you can see over here behind me. I put up Fortnite on the TV, just as a little shout out to Thor and and Mike and what was his name? Korg. Yeah, so I'm just going for just some keys and stuff like that. I've actually been getting into picking up volume 1 of Strange Tales. So if you want to call those like filler issues, I feel like just because they're old, it's not really filler, even if they're not keys. That's just my head mentality. Even though nothing happened, I'm like, hey, cool, So I've been getting those, I guess. So, I'll be showing those pretty soon, hopefully. I know I've been promising freaking haul for a while now, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. Obviously this weekend's a big weekend, so next week I'll have much more updates. So yeah, we'll just tease that for now. We'll talk about that, but let's jump into some of the topics here, because we started super late. I had a little bit of a technological hiccup, day one-ish, as the as the brothers would say, right? But not the good kind of day one-ish. So, you guys, did you like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? One of my favorite seasons was actually the one with Ghost Rider. I thought that was really cool. He showed up with the car, like the really badass car and stuff. That was awesome. That was Gabriel Luna. And then, I haven't really watched it much since. Just, I said last week, there's just so many damn freaking shows to watch. It's hard to keep up with them all.
Overwhelmed.
Yeah, so I have to pick and choose. Unfortunately for me, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was one of the ones that got cut from my list. Maybe I'll catch up on it or whatever. But now we have news. So let me back up for 1 second. A few months ago, we were talking about what would happen with Hulu. Disney owns a majority share there, right? What's going to go on there? The thought and our thinking is the the non-traditional, non-PG-13 type of like shows, like some of the harder content, R-rated horror, maybe a New Mutants, maybe like the Deadpool stuff. Then we got a slate of animated shows that were announced, like Howard the Duck, the MODOK one, Hit Monkey, Dazzler, all that stuff's going on there. Like Kevin Smith and a bunch of people are writing some of those shows. Runaways is on there. But now the latest thing that will be added to that, see how they're like really bolstering up that, with their Marvel content, right? They're adding to it with two additional shows. First one is Ghost Rider. And who's going to be Ghost Rider on this show? None other than Gabriel Luna from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is why I started with that. So the showrunners or sources near the showrunners have said, sure, it's Gabriel Luna. Sure, he did already play Ghost Rider, but this in no way connects to that storyline. Completely new iteration. So it may be a little bit confusing for people because it's the same actor playing this, even though they're separated, right? It's kind of weird. But it sounds pretty cool. I'll definitely check it out. And then the second one,
splintered timeline.
Yeah. I guess it's like multiverse. Hey. So the second one is Hellstrom. He's getting a show as well. So that's interesting that they're going for that. It seems like they might be building, fingers crossed, to like, Midnight Suns or something. I keep saying that. But that'll be a good place for Deadpool. It'll be a good place for like Blade, people like that to be on there. So what do you guys think? Ghost Rider, Hulu, you in or out?
Yeah, I'm that's cool with me. I'm, hoping for Midnight Suns.
Yeah, right? That would be so awesome, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be in on it too.
Get it all huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be worth watching, worth giving a try at least.
Right,
what they're gonna do, because he did it for them to pick. If I could talk, for them to pick that iteration of Ghost Rider to go with that one instead of what everybody was really familiar with, because I mean, if you weren't reading comics, you didn't know there was a Ghost Rider with a car,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that'll just be cool to see what they can do with it at this point.
Or like, did you know there was more than one Ghost Rider? Going all the way back to like,
forever,
way back to like riding mastodons.
1 million.
Yeah, flaming mastodons.
Yeah, I had the opportunity
name of a band.
the
That's a good band name.
The flaming mastodons. Yeah. Be like
I had the opportunity to buy the Ghost Rider from, what was that, 2005, Nicolas Cage.
Oh God, yeah.
I tried to rewatch that, and it wasn't as good as maybe what it was back then. Yeah, but I think that now they could definitely make a much better one. So
yeah, that's the era of Elektra, Catwoman, Green Lantern. Yeah. So like that was kind of like the dark ages of comic book movies. And now we're in the golden ages. Yeah. That's how I see it. But and then Runaways is actually it's doing pretty well. It's already on it's going to be going into its third season. So that's pretty cool, right? So we'll definitely, as we learn more about the show, we'll definitely share that with you guys as well. So there we go. Did you guys see the thumbnail for this episode?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is Daniela Melchior. She's a Portuguese actress, and she's been tapped to play a gender bent, female swapped, I should say, Ratcatcher. Ratcatcher is a supervillain from Batman. Is created by Alan Grant, Norm Brayfogle, I think, kind of like a team there. And the first appearance, if you want to spec on it, even though it's the male, Detective Comics 585. So basically, supervillain, just kind of does his little shtick, hence the name. And that's pretty much it. That's what we know so far. She'll be joining Margot Robbie, Jay Courtney, John Cena, Idris Elba for the film. And it opens up over a year from now, August of 2021. So still got some time for that. Apparently, Gunn's focusing on this. As soon as it's done, he's going to jump into doing Guardians 3, getting the principal photography done on that. So I know a while back we had actually gone through like picks for like who would be this new team, and I can confidently say that none of us said Ratcatcher. So
yeah, that's not one you would ever think of. So
right,
good on them for going super obscure.
Yeah. But a lot of people are saying her look and everything. I don't know much about her in terms of her filmography. I just know her from, the look of her. But a lot of people are saying she could be a next, however you want to say it, Margot Robbie. It could be a character that like stands out, in the way that she did from the first film. So,
I mean, I'm for it.
Yeah, she's basically a newcomer, So like this is going to be most people's intro to her, I would say. So,
I'm not familiar with the character, but I'm assuming kind of like the Rat King from the Turtles a little bit.
yeah.
Just a female version.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a male supervillain, but here they went with the female version. So interesting choice. I guess take a more like esoteric, unknown character, and you can make it male, make them female. You can kind of take a lot more creative license than when you have this character that everybody knows and loves. You know what I mean? So yeah. So there we go. It's pretty much all there is to talk about on that. Next thing,
Mr. Unknown Comics guy. Is there a skunk girl?
I think there is actually.
There's a squirrel girl.
Yeah. There's a rat girl. No, rat queen. That was it. Everybody saw Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man, that was an amazing, that was probably not only one of my favorite animated films, not only one of my favorite comic book movies, but one of my absolute favorite movies from last year. Right. So rightfully so. A lot of people thought that it won an award, Academy Award. So Sony's like, hey, these guys are pretty damn good. They got kicked off of Star Wars. They came over to us. Now they're, kicking ass, winning us awards. That movie was a massive hit. And I got to buy the Blu-ray still. I haven't got that, but that's another story. So Sony's like, hey, come over here. We'll give you 9 figures. We're going to pay you all this money. Stick with us exclusively for 5 years. And you get, this entire 9-figure sum of money here. So they said, okay, that sounds pretty good. As I think any of us would say to 9 figures, right? So what they're going to do, a bunch of things, but one of them, and this was from Variety, they're talking about doing and this is a quote, a suite of television series based on Sony's Marvel characters. So anything, so basically any like spider related character.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking for that is like Spider-Verse, like that was that was their thing, the movie. They could spin a whole bunch of things off of that. The 2099s and the Spider-Gwen show, I'm sure will be popular.
They could do Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of directions they could go.
Exactly right. So that sounds pretty cool. So I don't know if that will continue to be animated or not, or if they'll go live action with it. But apparently there's a lot more on the way from the Academy Award winning team from Into the Spider-Verse. So I'm excited personally for that, but I want to kick it over to you guys and get your thoughts.
Yeah, same as what we just said. Like I'm excited for it too. Like there's so many characters they could pull from. They could easily go, like what we talked about with Spider-Gwen. They could do a Silk show. They could also do something really fun, like what Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Like that series was just fun, especially the first few arcs. So
what about Big Wheel or Stiltman?
Oh god, no. Stiltman,
bad idea.
Stiltman. His first appearance was in Daredevil. If he shows up, I want it to be Daredevil fighting him.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Jackie had a good point. He says that it sounds like Sony is gearing up for a streaming service.
Oh man.
You know,
Oh,
these
God.
streaming wars are upon us, folks. So I
Yeah.
would not be surprised. So, Burning
I mean-
Extra says Phil Lord and Chris Miller are two of his favorite filmmakers. Still waiting for that 23 Jump Street. So,
I think it's a good idea. I just think they need to. I hope they don't oversaturate us with the whole Spider-Man stuff. It kind of reminded me of back in the '90s when the whole clone thing took off. It was just, and even then, I kind of felt like they were kind of getting into dangerous territory a little bit with Spider-Verse, like 3 or 4 years ago. Just all the Spider-Man stuff. You don't want to kind of saturate and overwhelm people with it.
Yeah, it's better than saturating everybody with Deadpool that they did a couple years ago.
I mean,
That too, yeah. I mean, you definitely don't want that either. Or even Harley Quinn.
yeah. They take an idea, you know, some positive reaction to it.
Kinda
They just
like,
run it into the ground.
Yeah, kind of like I remember DC. They were talking with DC Scott Snyder, basically saying that they didn't want Joker to be in like all these Batman comics. They kind of wanted to reserve him to like once a year and like an event once a year or something like that. I think that was a good strategy.
Smart.
And it is. And I mean, I think if they focus on a lot of the kind of B, C, and D list characters, I think they can do a lot because Marvel's already proven to do a lot with Guardians of the Galaxy, and even Iron Man was a B-list character in comics. So I think that if they kind of pick and choose, they could actually do a lot with a lot of the unknowns.
Yeah.
Right. Like when it was heated up, like it was heated up.
yeah, like
Right?
okay, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot they can do there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sweet. Okay, cool. So I guess we're kind of like in the middle of the show. I think it's as good a time as any to talk about Avengers Endgame. Not just the movie or the plot or whatever. I got some videos up that I posted this week. If you want some spoilers, and you can talk about that part of it. But today we're actually going to talk about the performance of this movie. This movie smashed so many records. It's unbelievable. I'm going to go ahead and link up to Box Office Mojo, who I really like, for their reporting on this type of stuff. And I wanted to actually click.
Wow, that was a huge budget. I didn't know it was that big.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Let's go ahead and click here.
that's a
I
big budget.
think this was the article with everything. Yes. Nope. That's not it. I wanted to show you guys just how many. Here we go. Okay. These are all of the records that this movie broke. Largest Thursday, widest opening, largest Friday, largest Saturday, domestic opening, highest per theater average, largest April, largest spring, largest PG-13, largest 3D gross, biggest weekend overall, fastest to like every marker, 100, 150, 200, 300, fastest to 350 million, which the only one, right? Biggest international opening weekend, worldwide opening weekend, 40x format. It smashed that too. So it literally broke like tons of records. IMAX, it did that too. It's crazy how many records it broke.
You guys think it'll dethrone Avatar?
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah, I think it's got a shot.
I may be the only person, but I was just not in love with the Blue People movie. I thought it was good, but it didn't change my world, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the numbers that it did. I'll just go back here. Okay, so here's all the numbers. $356 million budget, which is a good amount of money. Domestic. Well, actually, let's look at the worldwide first. Worldwide, right now, it is at 1. That's the number. 16641511786. Looks like my bank account minus.
It's basically made about $100 million a day since Sunday.
That's insane.
Yeah.
1.2 billion.
Yeah, I'm surprised because sequels kind of usually go down, but I think that it left a lot of people wanting their questions answered, so they had no choice but to
Well, I wouldn't say so much a sequel, like so much of a continuation of. I mean, because that's what really honestly it wasn't so much a sequel; it was more of a to be continued moment.
Yeah.
So if you want to, I mean, if you did a supercut of this movie of Infinity War and Endgame, I mean, it's pretty much all the same thing. It's just how you get to the ending. What was just. I mean, it's not so like. There's a big difference between this Endgame and Infinity War as far as being movies that one movie that precedes another one versus like Avengers and then Age of Ultron. Like Age of Ultron was completely different. This really just picks up where the last one left off. So that's why I know that, like, I mean, because of the reaction that everything had, because of how the ending of that movie left everything in a way that you needed to see resolution. That's why this movie is doing what it's doing. I mean, there was no way this wasn't going to make a ton of money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it was the end of an era. I mean, that's one of the things I didn't factor in when I did my prediction. But when I look at movies like Back to the Future 2 and Part 3, and those were the ends of a trilogy, and it just got worse and worse box office wise for those films.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was completely wrong on this because this just kind of blew everything out of the water.
This was like a 4-issue miniseries. Think about it. The first issue was really, really good. The second one was kind of a letdown, and then 3 and 4 like sealed it all.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I mean, honestly, too, like what you think. I mean, just to look at the reason that Back to the Future kind of had suffered what it did is because you have all this time passed between those movies. It's like Back to the Future 1 comes out, then was it like 5 years, and then they put out Part 2, and then after that was it like 3 years for Part 3? It's just like if you're going to do a story in that way where it's just like, it's all supposed to be pretty much still in the same spot, like time is not going to change, you have to kind of put those movies out one at a time. The thing was, back in, and I mean, and I don't think initially they had planned on, I think Back to the Future was supposed to be standalone. That's where things kind of get a little dicey with that one. But
like the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. And then they just said, "Oh, we can make more money off this." So you know what I mean. But the thing about that is just and the way I look at it, really honestly, and why it's doing as well as it is just because rather than being this is a sequel, it really was just a to be continued point. So it's still the same story, and then it was going to have a resolution to what you saw in Infinity War. Not so much as like Avengers. Then you have Age of Ultron, where it's just like, okay, here they are still teaming together, but so much time has passed that like it's a whole different feel to it.
But the other thing about this was like, I talked to so many people this week about the movie, and this was just like a huge, massive like family event because like people have had kids that like have grown up watching all of these, so it was like instead of a normal movie where it's like kind of date night or something, this was like family events. So you're instead of 2 tickets, it's 6 tickets, 7 tickets. It's like Grandma and Grandpa are coming too because they've watched all these on TV and they want to see them in the theater.
All their stories.
And it wasn't this Stan Lee's last cameo?
Yeah.
I thought he had one left in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
I'm not sure.
He might. I know he shot like a bunch of them.
Right.
I kind of all
that's
at
what
once.
they did was finish Phase 4.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, as far as I thought it was. But it's just we'll see what happens next. Just because, I mean, overall, the movie itself, I thought was really, really good. I liked what they did, and I will say, without getting specific about things, it's just it had a really good I feel like 3-act plot to it, which really kind of helped things along because things do kind of start out a little bit slowly. Well, they definitely slow down at one point, but then when you get to like where it's gonna hit that 3rd act and where everything's gonna really like just
that last hour,
it more than delivers. I was like, I mean, it was just so good. The way that they the actual final battle scene that they had was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And I can honestly say I wasn't full out ready to see what I saw, which was really, really just well done, and really, I think how they resolved everything was pretty cool. I think that for an ending of this story arc, they did, I think, an extremely good job tying everything together and ending what I guess would, like, if you're gonna look at the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, but how they did it in a cinematic universe to have their own spin and their own take on how things go within the MCU version of it. It I think was a really, really great resolution of everything that went through. It didn't seem like it's something where it's just like, all right, this has its own, I mean, this is its own thing. This can have its own ending. It didn't have to follow the comics all the way.
Right.
But it did do a lot of really good things. And I think the way that, it was a very fitting end for what they've built over the past, was it 10 years? It's just a really fitting end to it. And it was really, really done well.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize Spider-Man Far From Home is technically the last film for Phase 3. That's kind of, you could consider that more like the epilogue. It's like the story's done. This is just like, a little extra piece at the end. But we don't know. Like we've said this before, we have no idea what's coming for Phase 4 and beyond, right? We don't know anything right now. Yeah, we know
Eternals.
there's like directors who we know are coming back. Some casting that's been done. We talked about Angelina Jolie, like a month or two back, as Cersei. Obviously Scott Derrickson's going to continue with Black Panther 2. Ryan Coogler is going to be on Doctor Strange 2. Ryan Coogler is going to be on Black Panther 2. I'm sure there'll be another Captain Marvel. Sure, so we know some stuff like that.
Yeah, we're going to get as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, right.
Well, and that's one thing that I wanted to bring up too. What they did in this one, and I think what was actually really a fun and smart thing of them to do, was to bring in some of the modern storylines that people are actually reading, without going into super detail. Some of it was just really, really subtle, and just kind of like put out there, and it's just like, wow, like that's this story, or that's this one here, or just dropping the name as Guardian of the Galaxy. It's just like, wow, that's kind of, like they kind of, if you're into comics and you've been if you're a current fan of everything, and if you've been reading, they kind of rewarded you. The fact that you're a fan is like, oh wow, like this isn't something that and I think that was kind of a cool thing, where it's just like, so much of what has been has just been like, all right, you would have had to maybe potentially been a comic reader for a while to be able to get all the little subtle hints that are being dropped about all these characters, especially when all the origin films, where it's just like, you have to understand, you have to kind of know some of the Silver Age story to kind of go along with it. This was just like, wow, like this story dropped like 2-3 years ago. So if you've pretty much been around, for the introduction of Thanos and everything that they've been talking about, and just kind of been reading comics and just going along with different events and different things, it's like, wow, like they're rewarding you for even being a fan of comics, even like a newer fan of it, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I have one that I've been thinking about. It's kind of putting two things together, so it's not so like, Thor literally said as Guardians of the Galaxy. So what about, this is an actual book, came out in 2014. So think about these two things. Guardians 3000.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Why do they love each other 3000?
I don't know. That's
But
a lot of love.
team,
Well,
right?
why? Because they got to go find Gamora.
That's right. Why is Gamora? Where is Gamora? Who is Gamora? But I don't know. That's an interesting team. You got Starhawk on there, Vance Astro, a couple other people. So, Martin X, I think. Just something to think about. Guardians 3000.
Guardians 3000. I mean, them talking about Xandar being destroyed and stuff like that, and Infinity War. Like, It's a good place to like. Maybe they got to stop by there and pick up a Nova. You know.
Yeah, where's Richard?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, and the fun part with it is just that there's, like they kind of clean the slate a little bit. I mean, not completely. There's definitely still remnants of, there's plenty of people out there that they can draw from. But then, there's all these new different avenues that they can go and new characters that they can introduce, along with all the characters that we know are going to end up getting themselves different sequels and things like that. So they did a really good job. And another thing too, for me, I mean, and like I said before, like there was no shortage. Right now, there's no shortage of what comes next or what you missed or how come this and what happened here. Like all these different people have all these opinions about what's going on. And now, last weekend, actually basically since Thursday, it was torturous waiting till Sunday to actually be able to see that movie and to be on any kind of social
blackout, right? Yeah.
You were walking through a minefield with a blindfold on, and it was just like you could have easily took the wrong. I couldn't tell you how many on was it Friday? How many videos were up on YouTube about like Endgame spoilers, Endgame this, Endgame that. What's going to happen next? Look
Everybody who went Thursday night.
Endgame explained. Endgame ending explain. I was like, oh my god, leave me alone. And then
I put up 3 videos this week just on Endgame alone.
it was just there's so much going on. It was just like it's so different, just spoilers potentially. So after Sunday, when I was able to see, like, I saw that and then followed that up with Game of Thrones right after, and I was just like, all right, I can go on social media confidently and not have to worry. Absolutely. I was like actually like just because the thing I was worried about was that I was going to go on to Facebook or something like that, and then all of a sudden somebody would say something like, "I can't believe that," like kind of like if you've ever seen in The Simpsons when Homer Simpson goes with Marge to see Empire Strikes Back, and then he just comes out, "I can't believe that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father," and the whole line is right next to him, like, "Oh, come on."
What? Yeah.
That's what I thought was going to happen. I was like, "Oh God, I need to get away from this." But yeah, it was good to be able to get back through to that and everything, and it's just like one of those situations where now a friend of mine actually, and I'm glad I got to see it when I did, because a friend of mine literally on, I think it was Monday, started posting it's just like Infinity War spoilers with no context. Now, if you've seen it, you know exactly what's going on, but it's just random pictures that post up. Just like, and you have to see it to get them. But then again, it's just like there's so many things that are just like it's so subtle. It's just like you easily could just ruin everything for somebody just by posting a bunch of just random pictures that have no context, and then it's just like together it's all over. Like, what was actually really sneaky that I saw too was there was a I guess a website or a post, like an ad that would keep coming up saying like when to go to the bathroom during the movie. Like it was just like instructions, like here's the time you can go to, and I knew, I was like, don't you dare, because my wife saw it and she was like, oh, this sounds. I was like, don't even begin to click it. It's gonna tell you everything that happens in that movie. Don't touch it. I was like, that right there is clickbait, but it's literally it's a nuclear bomb as far as our knowledge is known. You don't want to mess with that.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool though to see where they go next. I can't wait for the hints that they're gonna drop. And I'm looking forward to seeing what little Easter eggs and everything else that kind of comes up, and maybe have a couple of callbacks to some of the stuff that we saw in the movie.
Right. There were some things that were planted that were very non-specific, but that they could very easily be something else.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping
that was purposely vague.
That was part of the fun with this first, just opening area of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, was just that like everything that you could just kind of find and build and what did he mean by this comment? That was part of the whole adventure, was like, just picking up on all the different Easter eggs they were leaving for you to say, this is the direction we're going in. So I can't wait to see where they go next with this.
So real quick, is this spoiler or non-spoiler?
I would say non, just for now. Like, even though it's made a ton of money, and most people probably would have seen it. I think that there's probably still a good amount of people that just didn't get a chance to because
Yeah.
of how many people went out to see it this weekend and everything. Like, I mean, there's just a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like the way that Comic Historian does it. You do a few days, like half a week. Don't even talk about it. Like, don't like ruin it for people. After that, you can talk about it, like light spoilers, but you gotta like tag everything, make sure people know very much
Spoilers.
that you're getting into spoiler territory. Avoid it, watch later, come back, but you have to tag everything with spoiler alert. And then after 2 weeks, then you're good. You can talk about it because the people who wanted to have seen it should have probably seen it within that 2 weeks. So I think that's kind of a good general rule of thumb,
that's where I would go with it. Just
Yeah. So no talk for a while. We're still within that time frame.
Yeah.
Maybe into next week, start tagging it with your spoilers. You can talk about it. Once you hit that 2 week mark, you're good to go. Actually, Comics Defender. Thank you for being here, by the way. It says, I thought we would see the Celestials in the movie. They would be great bad guys with the Fantastic Four, Doom, and the Council of Reeds. So they did actually want to introduce the Celestials all the way back.
With Thor.
One of the Guardians movie. Yeah, maybe even Thor.
And Saoirse.
Right.
Well, yeah, they got Nowhere, which is a dead celestial head. So
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. In the movie, and okay, so I won't say the movie. No, never mind. I'm not going to talk about that right now. So that's for a later show. I was going to talk about somebody who might show up later.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot that you can really talk about. I mean, it was a great film. I enjoyed it a lot. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we're not. Yeah, that's why we kind of took the route of talking about the actual performance of the movie, right? That's something we can confidently talk about and discuss it, and not have to worry. So, but with that, we always do box office predictions for domestic opening weekend for these films. We maybe do Godzilla, maybe Brightburn. Those are sort of comic related, manga related, if you will, anime, whatever. But then Dark Phoenix, of course, will be that, and then Far From Home, and then New Mutant. So we have plenty still to do. We'll do Star Wars too when that comes up. Joker, of course, as well in the fall. So that'll be fun. For this, we did domestic opening weekend. Obviously, predictions were like the range was like over $100 million, which most films were like, yeah, I wish we could make that, but that's the gap we had here. Pretty crazy. I will say before I give my estimate, this was before we knew about like the 24-hour showings and stuff that I think really helped get it to the number it did get to, which was 357,115,000 and $007. So that's pretty specific over the 7. So there's that amazing number. We went through every record that it smashed. It's gonna hit. It's gonna continue to smash records. I think it'll beat Avatar and everything else. So it's gonna dethrone everything. Amazing movie.
Yeah, I would like
just look at that
again this weekend.
Yeah. So it's gonna. Somebody was saying like even if it drops like by 50% by the second weekend, it's still gonna do $500 million. Which is insane. So we would do the contest. We'll do this. There was a prize for this. We don't always do a prize, or maybe I should start always doing a prize. So we'll get that out to the winner. Like I said, big range here. Gomez Comic Collector. Everybody's broski had a $240 million estimate, which is pretty respectful number.
Normally that would be crazy.
I know, right? I'd be like, yeah, massive. Metaraj had 312. Brian B, who's listening from the shop, not commenting by the way, busy. $316,000. No, million.
Oh.
David, SNMC, Seeking Near Mint, 400 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Iron Galactus had 305 million. Daniel Barra. I don't think he's here right now. 290 million.
Yeah, I think
Um,
conservative on mine.
Big Easy from home of the New York Warriors, an even 300 million. Jack Yo had 266. Who dat? Comics and Collectibles, 263 million. Comics Let me start over. Comics Misexplained had 275 million. Stay Puft with 325. I'll go into us now. Chris, you were at 273.
Yeah,
Justin had Beta Ray Bill's number 337. And Edwin, you were at 225, so you were a little under. I was at 267, so I was pretty low too. It came down to King of the Golden State and Wellington Smithopolis.
Wow.
Oh wow. What were
They were
numbers?
separated from the number by $4 million. Really close. Wellington had 388 million, and Golden State had 330 million, which makes the winner Wellington Smithopolis. Very close. They were just like really close. One was like, so it was a $4 million difference in their difference between their estimate and the opening weekend. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
The closest was Wellington Smithopolis. So congratulations. If and when you do listen to this, reach out to me so I can get your information. You can send out your prize. It will be Thanos related. There is a Thanos like Funko Pop, and I'll send some other stuff. If you don't already have it, I'll give you the first issue of Thanos that came out. This Thanos 1 from, I think it was this week, right? And we'll make sure you get that. So congratulations to Wellington Smithopolis. So
Congratulations.
yeah. So there we go.
Good job. Everybody, we had several people that were pretty close, so that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll continue to do this for all the, upcoming comic book related movies as well. So more prizes to come. And I guess a good time is any to announce that once I hit 5,000 subscribers, which I'm really close to, I'm like 25 off from there.
Nice.
Right? Do a contest for that as well. 5K giveaway. So more on that later. Just teasing it now for the future. So cool. We did that. Now let's talk about DCeased. Did you guys read DCeased?
Yes.
DC?
I've not read it. I will let you guys talk about that.
Okay.
Okay. It was a pretty quick read, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's Tom Taylor, so I thought there would be some more stuff, but it was a lot of, thinking back to how it started type stuff or whatever.
That was pretty cool. I story-wise, I thought it was pretty good. I kind of looked at it where it was just, how they went about it. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought actually a really, really cool moment in there was when, they start out the book with Darkseid has been subdued by the Justice League, and, the lasso of truth is around his neck, and then he's able to overpower the lasso. He's like, I don't have to tell you the truth about anything. I have what I need. I'm out of here. Just threw it off and just went back to Apocalypse. I was like, that. I mean, I've never seen anybody, just shrug it off like that. Like, I thought that was really, really cool, and kind of just speaks to how powerful he is.
And he's like, you can't kick me off Earth. I was leaving anyway.
Yeah, and then just like, one thing I will say that was kind of tough a little bit was how there's a couple of different artists that work on it, and like some of the drawings in especially like the second page,
Yeah,
like, it looks terrible. He's just like,
well, yeah, the first when it switches, the first art switch, it's a big switch.
like Superman's face is all twisted up. Wonder Woman looks like a dude. I was like, oh man. Like
Where it threw me was the cyborg scenes.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was different art altogether, and I mean, it got better towards the as they went through it, but for the most part, it was just, I mean, it was a really jarring change. But like, I mean, Superman's face stood out to me a lot, though. Like the guy who drew him just kind of, I don't know if he did it quickly or what was going on, but it was just like he basically threw the same face on everybody, so everybody kind of looked the same. And just but like the Superman face really was just out there, and I mean I think he drew him a little bit skinnier than normal too, but beyond that, the story wise it was pretty cool, and I think that how they went about it, as far as how the infection spreads, how how it all comes to be, was pretty inventive. It was kind of like Skynet 2.0 type situation where it's just instead of it being a computer virus turned all the machines against us, like no, this actual computer or technology virus like turned everybody into basically just zombies, like turned them into and not like Walking Dead like zombies, like the rage zombies that you find in
Right.
28 days later and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool, and I liked how they basically the disease spread through, and it's because of the fact that the anti-life equation was put into or was merged with Cyborg and
Yeah.
Black
I mean, a
Rider.
new equation. Yeah.
Yeah. So that in itself was pretty cool, and how it spread along to other people and everything.
He Wi-Fi'd everybody to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like I think one of the really cool scenes was you see Superman kind of he's just kind of sitting there. He's like, the Earth is screaming. He's like, what? I don't understand.
Yeah. Like
And then he goes outside and he just sees all this
chaos everywhere.
and he realizes like what it is that's causing it. And then he's like, oh man. And he flies back and just obliterates Lois's phone and smashes the TV. And then he's just like, don't look at anything, close your eyes. And then you get a really cool, I think, one of the really cool moments in there as well is you get this really cool human moment where Damian, is kind of just like, worried about Batman. Like he's just like, all this is going on. And Damian, League of Assassins, just like a hardcore little kid. But in the end, though, he's still a kid. And he's just like, I don't know where my dad is right now. I'm kind of worried about him. And, you see what happens with Batman, how he's kind of coping with everything and finding out how everything's going down.
Yeah. When he realizes it's the electronics, and he's like, oh shit. All right. EMP the house.
Yep.
Now,
In the house.
do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I liked it. I thought I like Tom Taylor. Like he's one of the best out there. Really loved his X-23 stuff. It's a fun read. At the bottom, it's fun. There's some really like funny moments in this too. Like we were just talking about the opening when Darkseid was here, and then he's like, oh no, I got what I wanted, I'm leaving. And then I think it was Flash who was like, I thought that was going really well until that last ominous comment you made, right? So things like that. There was a couple other like funny scenes or funny like comments. Cyborg made one when he was on the table, and then Darkseid came in. He was like, were you just like waiting out in the hallway to
make an entrance? Yeah.
Cool entrance. So it was pretty funny. The art did throw me, just like you guys were saying. It was kind of jarring when it would change. I wish have different, a rotation of artists if you want, but give them alternate books, like not the same book, right?
Yeah.
So that's just kind of a detractor for me. Pacing wise, it was great. It was a great setup, being the first issue. Like it's something you have to like really try to explain to set up for the rest of it and have it be, use the word believable. And using something that everybody uses like social media is a pretty good, smart way to do that and have it be like an updated story. So I like that. And again, Tom Taylor, it was fun. But at the same time, with the setup, not a whole lot happened. Like Darkseid went back, they did the equation, or the new equation, right? And then just kind of the events just started. People were just realizing, like Superman just heard it and went outside. Batman just, had the EMP the house. Damian just was like, where's my pops? And then Superman's like, he would go through hell and back to find you, so don't worry, kid. So I think it felt like it was fast and just that nothing really happened at the same time. Also, a lot happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Darkseid called death and then grabbed Death, and then like took his blood.
Yeah, that was really cool when he like came through with those scythes. I think they were.
Yeah. Darkseid just like grabs him out of the air, you know.
Yeah.
But I think the cool thing, and the reason why I like the way that they spread the disease in that way, just because I mean, every zombie story known to man pretty much starts out with an actual disease outbreak. And it's just like so it's one of those things where the hospitals are getting flooded. What's going on? What's happening? And then so to have it be something that like literally is I guess if you were to try to find something that was going to end up, I mean, literally, if it was possible, something that could enslave everybody all at once. I mean, everybody's got technology on them all the time. And so it's just like, I mean, that makes so much sense to use. And it's just like one of those things where, that was a really, really smart choice of how to spread that disease to everybody all at once. And I love when Batman was looking at the, when he was trying to calculate everything and figure out, he's like, all right, how many people are affected? And it was like 600 million. And it was like, it'll be throughout the entire world in a couple of days. I was like, what?
Yeah. And that's probably pretty realistic in terms of how fast things can spread,
Yeah, but this is like, I mean, if you look at this and what happens to people, there's no real way to go back from that. Even if they cure you, still ripped half your face off.
Yeah.
Also,
Batman had some nasty cuts in them.
But yeah, there's no telling. We don't even know if this is transferable.
Yeah, Alfred had it's in spoiler brackets, like locked in the closet because he was too feral.
Oh yeah,
Seemed like he trapped him in the pantry so he couldn't get out. He was just like hiding there in the dark.
But I will say this also: I recently read Tom Taylor's Vision run, and how that ended. If you have not read Vision, don't read Vision until DCeased is over.
It gives it away.
I mean, it's got to be something similar. It's got to be something similar.
Yeah, I think that the thing that you kind of have to, I mean, the thing that you go with, I mean, and where they ended off, I mean, Batman's really struggling and he's in a bad way. But when you get out of that, I mean, just because next issue is going to try to resolve that. Okay, fine. But you also have to look at it, whereas 600 million people have been affected. They don't know how many heroes, villains, superpowered beings have actually been, because that's going to be what's going to, I think, be the hottest part, is to find out, like, now you have a zombified version of, let's say, Martian Manhunter. It's like, how do you fight him? I mean, because, I mean, if he's...
With fire.
Well, all right.
The same way you fight normal Martian Manhunter.
All right, fine. Just in general, it's like these crazy threats, and it's just like, and they're not using, they're not in their normal state. They're just, rage monsters. Like, that's going to be really cool to see how they go about that, just because it's going to lead to some pretty cool alliances as well, just because it's not just going to be something where you can, I mean, if you're a superpowered, being, whether you're good or bad, I mean, there's going to be some team ups between, heroes and villains that are going to happen if they want to survive. So
this is what leads to DC Primal Age.
I think so.
Yeah, it could.
They
didn't tell you Primal Age was actually the future.
Right? Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Whoa.
We figured it out. We put all the pieces together. Good job, guys.
That's right. Sorry, Tom.
Wait, did he write Primal Age too? Oh my god!
What a coincidence. The other thing about this is the variant covers. I know we talk about those, love them or hate them, the store variants, the ratios, whatever. But there are some amazing ones. Yeah, exactly. So that's an homage to it. There's going to be a lot of like horror movie homage covers for this series, and then like for the store exclusives, there's some really amazing ones. Really, really nice ones. So that's something to look for. I don't know.
Is this going to be a weekly series? Or do we know?
I wish.
See, so it's probably not.
Yeah.
Marvel's pushing everything weekly right now.
Let me consult Mr. Brian B.
I think for myself, the cover that I'm hoping to pick up is going to be that horror variant, just to see what like horror homage they go with. Just because I mean those are pretty fun, and I saw the It cover, and I saw the regular cover, and I saw a couple of the other ones that they had, and I was just like, no, I want this It cover, just because it seems like, I mean, it just looks really cool, and have Robin just kind of hanging out with the balloon. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I can't deny that one.
Right? Isn't it sick? It's sick.
Yeah.
You just gotta get it, man.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm gonna go for all the movie poster variants for this whole series.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are like gonna be the most fun out of everything, just because the other thing that they're doing is like they're also taking kind of like iconic moments within the DC history. So like there's that one with like Lois Lane's of Zombie holding like a dead Superman.
Yeah,
pretty cool. But I mean, I just really like. I think that the movie poster ones are gonna be the ones that steal the show.
Yeah, for sure. What was it gonna be? There's one with Harley on the cover. I think it's like a Resident Evil looking cover, where she's like covered in blood and like leaning in the corner. Looks really cool. I wish I could find. I have a print that I got, like an 11x17 of Superman holding Supergirl. You know that iconic the Pieta cover homage from Crisis.
Yep.
So we did that. Obviously, he's famous for his zombies, so it was like a zombified thing. She has an apple in her mouth. I'll find that and show it on the next show. I was trying to find that, but it's really cool. So I do you know if he's doing a cover?
Who?
Arthur Sudam?
I don't know.
Because this seems like it would be like absolutely perfect for him, right? Just based on like that and some of the other stuff that he's done. He's known for the he did a lot of like some of the, well, not a lot, but some of the Marvel zombie stuff, I think. Some of the covers over there. Okay, so here we go. DCeased will be 6 issues monthly. Thank you. I knew he'd show up and save the day with that 411.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. So for me, I would say this was a really fun read. I enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect, some of the art, like we said. I would give this a really solid. I'm gonna go 4 out of 5 on this. I enjoyed it. Definitely worth picking up. Price point's good. Good starting for events. Events are love them or hate them, but this one seems like it's gonna play out to be pretty fun. So, and especially if you like zombies and kind of like the more horror-esque books, this might be one for you to pick up as well. So that's my take on it. What do you guys think? Rating, final.
I thought it was good. I would give it for a starting issue. I would give it 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I'd probably go 3.5. Like I don't know. Like I said, I think it was just because I read Vision so recently that it like it started. Like I already started thinking about how that was going to end or something. So messed with me. But I enjoyed it. I like I've been talking about. I want to see where it goes. Like who's affected, who's not affected. Like how did they solve this?
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be interesting to see how it wraps up.
Otherwise, the plastic surgeons that are left after this are just gonna make all the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The horror cover for issue number 2 is Freddy Krueger, and then for issue number 3, I'm not quite sure which one that is.
I think it's the Nun. I saw one for the Nun.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I think it is the Nun. But I mean, like. Issue number 1 has so many variants. I mean,
there are tons. Yeah.
I mean, I considered also picking up the blank. I was like, let me see about the blank. But like, yeah, I mean, they also have the they have the Harley Quinn Alex Ross cover there. They have that one. They have that Resident Evil one that you're talking about, where Harley's standing or kneeling on a dead Joker.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Yeah, then they have a really weird Joker one I didn't like, where he's got basically he's got just a blown out hair. It looks like he shocked himself or got electrocuted.
I saw one that was like the Joker being beaten and trying to get away from Red Hood.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I like the other one too. Like, there's a really good Greg Horn Harley Quinn one that's out there.
Oh yeah.
And there's another one. It's Lucy Carrillo, and it's there's two of them. So there's like the Virgin cover almost, where it's just like, you know, a zombified Wonder Woman has a lasso of truth around Batman, and then there's another one where Batman zombified and she's normal. But I mean, there's just so many, just covers that came out with this. Those are the ones that stood out to me. I mean, there's not too many where I was like, oh, I would freak out about. But I'm definitely, I think I'm definitely leaning toward the horror covers, just because those ones look really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's a Batman Harley dancing cover. Found this. I don't think it has all of them, but oh yeah, Arthur Sudan. There you go. First one, Arthur Sudan. See that right here. That's him.
That's what I was saying. That Harley Quinn one, which looks pretty cool. But I mean, and unfortunately, I mean, the Alex Ross one always will take.
Yeah. This Finch, if I didn't know it was Finch, I would say it's Frank Miller, but
yeah,
just because of the splatter and stuff, that looks like really Miller to me. That's this one here, the Frankies. That one's nice. Is this the one you're talking about? The blown out hair?
Yes.
Yeah. That's Comics Elite. That's Sean Hidachko. I think he's in Indiana.
It really isn't a good cover. I'm sorry.
I like this one, especially this one here.
Oh yeah, that's
what she's doing. Yeah, this is the Michonne one. But over here, she's not here grabbing poison ivy. Over here she is. So, anyways. Yeah.
What does it mean?
Yeah.
Huh.
Lucio Perillo.
Oh man, that's like the Game of Thrones cover right there. You can't see anything.
This one, right? Yeah. This looks like Shannon Myra. There you go. Harley.
So I heard y'all's rating. Is that one that needs to be picked up? You guys think people should pick up?
I mean, it's a good read. I mean, it's just I mean, I would say you could probably pass it by and pick it up in a trade if you wanted to. I just thought it was kind of a fun story, and I just
exactly pick it up if you want to read it and have fun with it. If you're thinking it's going to be worth much in the future, no.
Or anything like that. Like, if that's the aim, I wouldn't look at it. Like,
no. The print run on this is going to be massive, especially with this many variant covers. Yeah. There's going to be tons of them out there. So
I almost picked it up, but I think it had a $4.99 cover, right?
$3.99.
$3.99.
Was it $3.99?
Yeah, it wasn't over because I expected it to be a little bit mocked up too, but no, regular price though.
Yeah,
not too bad.
Okay, never mind. I totally messed up, everybody. I totally messed up. It was Tom King that wrote Vision, not Tom Taylor.
Oh yeah.
So okay, now I have no clue what's going to happen. I'm much more excited for DCeased now.
Well, maybe the Toms are friends.
Maybe they talked. Ooh, yeah, I want that Nightmare on Elm Street.
They go to the Tom Cons.
Mm-hmm. They hang out at the same place.
Yeah. So there you go, folks. A lot of variants. All right. So, Comics Misexplained is good at says Tom Taylor is good at Elseworld stories, like Injustice. Yeah. Absolutely, 100% agree with that.
That's where he shines the most. Is just like these Elseworld, like end of the world scenarios. He does really, really good with those.
Yeah. And I guess he ordered the Perillo and the David Finch. So
nice.
Cool. Yeah.
Nice.
I picked up
the Finch cover for Savage Avengers, and the other cover because Thor was on
it. Nice. Yeah. All right. Cool. So I guess our recommendation is, hey, pick up the book, right? And when can you do that? This weekend. You can stop by your shop for free comic book day. Check those out. I want to ask you guys about that, what your shops might be doing. As Chris says, and as we always say, it's a great time they're giving to you. get back to your shop and buy a back issue, right, Chris?
Mhm.
Yeah, buy
So-
a back issue, man.
Yeah. Are there any particular free comic book day issues that you're looking for, or anything that it stands out to you?
Take a look at what's coming out, just because I have no idea, and I tried to talk with the lady that works in my shop, and she was, we're just gonna be open. I'm like, okay, but anything special, anything like people who need to be watching out for? She's like, no, I mean, as far as I know, just there's gonna be some free books and that's it. So she wasn't really any help with it. She just was kind of like, yeah, just come on in. I'm like, yeah, I'm already coming. It doesn't matter. I just was wondering if there's anything. So, I mean, I don't know if there's anything that we should be considering, just because I haven't looked at any solicitations or anything like that to like kind of go in to see what it is that I want to pick up. I just know that my shop that I normally go to kind of has a limit of, I think it's like 3 books. So that's the only thing that kind of makes it tough. Or it's just like, to be limited to only getting 3 of the free comics is kind of a tough one, but we'll see what happens.
There's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle book written by Kevin Eastman.
Yeah.
So that one might be a good one.
Casualty of the Horse.
There's an Avengers book that would be good. Yeah. Okay, got it.
There's Deadly Class, Stranger Things. There's only been a few of these free comic book day books that ended up like being worth something,
Yeah.
So just pick up stuff that you think is fun. A lot of these end up being reprints. So I always pick up the Lady Mechanica. I think Justin, you picked that up last year too.
Yeah, I normally
that's always a reprint. Yeah, exactly. But like original story wise, what's that?
Every year's like one book that ends up being worth something.
Yeah.
Here's the one I'm going for. The one I really want this year is from Ahoy Comics. It's Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man.
Yes, yeah, I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So that one will be cool. I mean, probably has something to do with Wrong Earth. Of course it does. But
Is that a Spawn number 1?
Yeah, Spawn number 1, free comic day edition. I guess the big lead up in the celebration of issue 300. Building the hype for that.
The 296 that just came out this week or last week or whatever was just like a timeline issue of everything from issue 1 till now.
Yeah. This is a reprint. One that I'm going to be picking up though is this.
Yeah,
Spider-Man. This is kind of the start, the lead in maybe for hey look, Tom Taylor. For Absolute Carnage.
Yeah.
Which this one will be one to get that story started.
That reminds me a little bit of the Infinity one that Thanos that's where it all kicked off, that free comic book day book.
2013.
Led to the Black Order.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be pretty cool. That's what I will be taking a look at.
Hey Justin, look.
Spider-Man one.
Robotech, sweet. Event Horizon. Oh no.
So basically, what you guys are saying is, if you have an opportunity to pick up one of everything, grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, so yeah, the one of everything is probably the best way to do it. And then, like I said, my shop limits them, but like what they do is they will, the next week, or the following Wednesday, they kind of, give you the opportunity to pick up what you didn't get and everything like that. So, they just want to like their biggest thing is just making sure that people have the chance to get, one of whatever comic they want, rather than just kind of, and it is a little bit counterproductive because there's one that everybody's going after, and there's going to be a lot of ones that will just kind of get out or end up getting sold, not sold out, but just get claimed out or whatever. So, but for the most part, they just want to be able to kind of give an even playing field, and from time to time, or for the most part, they usually have some back issues for free as well. So I'm going to see if they have another cover of the X-Men #1, the 90s X-Men #1 from Volume 2. So I can see if I can get a different cover and get that whole cover together. Because every year they seem to pull one out. I've gotten every single year. So I'm hoping to get another one to add to my collection. We'll see.
Yeah. Shout out to Jackio for this one, Bloodshot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I picked up the new book that leads into the new like Bloodshot stuff, the Fallen World. Issue 1 came out this week. I picked that up.
Yeah.
So we're giving Valiant a good try again.
Yeah. Looks like it'll be good. It looks promising. Shout out to this book here. So apropos to be coming out on Free Comic Book Day, which happens to be May the 4th, which is of course a big Star Wars day. So maybe your shop has some sales. Maybe they'll have some extra sales on the Star Wars stuff. So this one might be be fun read. I do believe it is a reprint. But they may have like extra sales or something different going on for the Star Wars related, comics and merchandise. So just ask your shop, but what do your shops do specifically for this event? Do they just do the books, like put them out, or like do they bring in like other vendors and food trucks, or like how big do they get with it?
Our shop is a big deal. Hot dogs, face painting, clowns, balloons, everything.
We get just the books and some local guys who just like local people that are trying to get people just to take a look at the actual book we're doing. Other than that though, like we don't get any kind of industry people, no cookouts or anything like that. But for the most part, I think they've started or they will be starting a 50% off sale starting that day. So they're gonna have some sales that are out there, so you can pick up some good stuff in lieu of the industry people and things like that. So that's kind of, but I do get jealous when I see the other people like, oh, we have this guy coming. Like I saw like there was a shop last year that had like Ron Lim and just people just listing off like pretty much a couple of different comic artists or writers will end up showing up at a shop and just signing stuff and everything. That makes it feel like more of a kind of fun event where it's just like, oh, you get to actually meet somebody on top of everything else.
Well, it is fun. I think my shop is going to raffle off a Hulk 181.
Yes, that'd be
they
cool.
do a lot of giveaways and stuff, but unfortunately, like I'm going to be in Dallas, so I'm a little upset about that because I usually participate in Free Comic Book Day every year, but I'm not going to be able to do it this year unless they're going to do something at Fan Expo Dallas.
Yeah, the toughest part too with that is when at least the way that my shop does it with everything like that, a lot of people just come in just for the moment, like, oh, free comics, all right, cool, and then they just come in, get the free stuff, and leave. Everything like casual, just because they should be doing more to kind of entice them to come in and check out what's going on. So I think that's what they're trying to do with the sale that they're having this year, because usually they don't have a sale along with it. It's just kind of get the books and all right, see you later. So, but we will see. Picking up some stuff.
So we're gonna have good old Mark Bagley. He's gonna be there. Also gonna have Dan Fraga. I don't know if it's Jorge's or George's Genta, the guy who did Bishop. We're also going to have the creator of Dawn, Joseph Michael Leisner.
So you're basically having a mini convention at your shop.
Dean Potter's going to be there. We're also going to have Jocelyn and Crystal Potter. They just came out with a book called Trophy Girls. Y'all know what that is?
No.
And we're going to have Rod Wingham from the original G.I. Joe, Doc Savage, Star Trek stuff.
That's a good little Free Comic Book Day you have.
Yeah, yeah. Justin's having LCS Con.
Yeah.
Dr. Knows, baby, Dr. Knows.
When your shop has its own artist alley, you're doing something.
Right? Yeah, that's what they do. It's like half of the shop's just all books anyway, and so that's where there'll be the Free Comic Book Day stuff. And so it's like a line in the door around all the new books and the back issues and stuff to get to the front where those books are. And then as you leave that, you just walk around and you get in the other line to go meet everybody.
Yeah. It's like a conveyor belt of people, right?
It really is. And they've been doing it so long, it's very efficient. But, they normally have food and stuff like that out there too. So me and my nephew will be out there. I think the shop opens at 11, so we'll be camped out in our chairs in the line as early as possible.
Yeah. 3 a.m.
Not that early.
That's going to be a Run on that
Like,
dragonfly, man.
I'm getting that book. I'm gonna be close enough to the door. I'm gonna have my pick.
Yeah. So did they limit you like 5 or?
Yeah, they do. No, they
That's
do.
typical, yeah.
They do 3, and I bring my nephew because he might
He gets 3.
He might want one of them, and then I get 2 more.
Yeah.
And then, but the way my shop does it also is that say like they'll tell you if there were more books you wanted, come back after 4. If we still got them, you can have them. So they just don't want to run out that initial push when everybody's in line or anything. But you come back later in the day, they'll grab it. But there's a lot of shops, so I'm just going to try to hit a whole bunch of them, I think.
Yeah. Do the rounds. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
A full day of it. Yeah, for me, like it's going to be a crazy weekend. So there's May the 4th, free comic book day. Kind of May the 4th has become the entire weekend because it's Revenge of the 5th the next day. So it's like a Star Wars weekend, which is also Cinco de Mayo. And then on top of all of this, they're actually having the Fort Lauderdale Air Show this weekend.
Nice.
So that's always like really crazy, big jets screaming overhead,
Mm-hmm.
Blue Angels, all these, like, it's crazy.
Nice.
I think they had a F-22 Raptor paired up with a Mustang last year.
That'd be crazy to see flying together.
Yeah, so cool stuff. So it's gonna be a busy weekend, needless to say. But I want to ask you, Sunday morning comics this week or no?
I hope so. Last weekend got messed up by a friend running over a pipe with a lawnmower. So out in the yard doing some plumbing, helping.
Yes.
That was a good time. But yeah, hopefully I don't see any reason why not. But yeah, should be back this week because we'll have to talk about everything that happened on Free Comic Book Day.
Exactly right.
Hey, like, that would be a good thing.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right, cool. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. So, all right, very good. Well, that is all we have for this show for this week. A little bit shorter of a show, but because we got off to a later start. I do want to remind folks, leave us a comment if you're watching later. We do get plenty of people watching. Once this is available as on demand, post live. So drop a comment on any of these topics or just say hi. Love to continue that conversation down below. Streaming wise, if you are listening to us via your favorite podcast hosting service, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, wherever it is, go ahead and leave us a comment there. I do want to remind you, once I get a few more people, I'll be at 5,000 subscribers, and there will be a contest to celebrate that. So be looking forward and look for that as well coming from the channel in the near future. As well as all the content that these fine gentlemen here will be posting very shortly. Don't forget to check out Master Presser himself here, StrictlyComix, for all your press needs. And comicbook.com will give you all the latest, greatest in the news, as well as a list of books to bring to your shop every week. Check that out. Justin posts it every Monday. And our Boston Beantown book buyer. Oh, that was my best Stan Lee.
Good job.
Yeah. Posting up his hauls. I'm sure there's some more great stuff to come from him as well. So a lot of stuff from all of us on the way. That's it. This has been another fun Thursday with the 4 Norsemen of, I don't know. Anyways. Yes. All right, cool. So that is it. Have a great night, and we will see you soon.
Have a good one, everybody. Thanks.